a commercial arrangement.
Yes, but I mean, he's bought how many, like almost $100 million worth of property around the world. That's not funding a movie. That's funding a lifestyle. Where did he get that money from? The United States Department of Justice alleges that that money came directly from 1MDB.
Well, everybody assumed that the money was coming from the UAE side. Again, when you are being presented with that sort of offer, you cannot look beyond it because you wouldn't know. You just assume that the monies come from the people who want to invest.
But isn't it important as the Prime Minister of this country to know where the money comes from so that you know that you're not going to eventually be compromised?
Sure.
So why didn't, I mean, it seems to me that you're constantly saying you don't know where the money came from, that yet at the same time, 1MDB was going into massive debt.
No, as far as I'm concerned, I really didn't know it was 1MDB's money because Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince, said, we are going to invest in your stepson's movie.
So do you now acknowledge that it must have been 1MDB money, given that the US Department of Justice has moved to seize your stepson's properties and he's also made a settlement of $60 million? Do you now accept that he was the beneficiary of 1MDB money?
As far as I'm concerned, it was civil settlement and there's no admission of guilt. That is the position, because if you think that it was settled because it's 1MDB, it presumes that he had knowledge of the money coming from 1MDB. He had no knowledge. And I know for sure that if he had knowledge, he wouldn't have accepted it. He accepted it because it was a loan by the Abu Dhabi family to him, especially from the Crown Prince.
What would you say to people who say they don't believe that? That you're covering it up?
No, I mean, in all honesty, that's the truth. I mean, I cannot. There's nothing I can do if people don't believe it. But that's the honest truth, because my track record as Prime Minister, I can stand by it, because this country has developed by leaps and bounds during my tenure.
Just going back to when the police raided.
Can we? We're supposed to talk about the economy.
We are going to, but there's just a couple of more.
You're talking too much about this.
But listen, there are just a couple of other allegations that I do need to.
I don't want to talk too much about it. I cannot talk.
Well, I tell you, I do want to ask you about your decision. You have recently called for the reinvestigation of several high-profile murders to be reinvestigated. That people say that you're.
Okay, right. Yeah. You can ask that.
That you're linked.
I know you're very fond of this subject. I don't know.
Yes. Well, you've recently called for the reinvestigation of several high-profile murders that many say you are linked to. The murder of Alton Tuya Sharibu in 2006, Hussein Najadi in 2013, and Kevin Moraes in 2015. Why didn't you reopen those cases when you were Prime Minister?
Put it this way, it went through the courts. In the case of Alton Tuya, went through the court at the highest level, the federal court. So I have been cleared entirely by this legal process. And if you ask the then Chief Police of Malaysia, he will testify, he will verify that I had no involvement whatsoever.
I was deported from Malaysia in June 2015 while filming a story about the murder of Alton Tuya Sharibu. Why did you have me deported from this country?
We deported you. You're a nuisance. Because as far as I'm concerned, making lies, fabricating lies, is not something that we want to tolerate in this country.
But I wasn't fabricating lies. I was actually seeking an interview with you. I have no political agenda in this country. I was just trying to understand what the truth was.
The way you've been asking is as though in your mind I was already involved.
Not at all. I was saying to you,
nothing to do with Alton Tuya. Nothing.
So just because I was filming a story about Alton Tuya's murder in this country, that was the
That
reason
was
to deport him.
decided by the authorities. They don't want things to be stirred up in this country. I leave it to them.
We understand
As far
that
as
that
I'm concerned-
directive came directly from the Prime Minister's office, your
Well,
office.
I am not party to the decision, but as far as I'm concerned, I am totally innocent of the Altan Tuya case. Absolutely.
The 1MDB
Can we
scandal.
go to the economy?
Oh, well,
Look,
just,
you've spent
just
so
one
much
thing.
of this time. Otherwise, I'm going to walk out.
Okay, just one thing.
No more, no
though.
more, please.
You know, many people say,
No more. All right.
okay,
That's it. I'm
listen,
done.
okay.
If you want to talk about economy, I'll sit down.
Well, we can talk about.
Come on, you're not being fair to me. No, if you want to ask about the economy, what
I mean, you
did,
are
Right.
facing serious charges
No,
in this
I've done.
country, and people.
Look, I've done my part.
No, okay.
I'm not going to stand anymore. Please. If you want to ask about the economy, I'll talk to you.
Okay, we'll ask about. Let's talk. Given what's happened to you, let's talk about your legacy.
Okay,
as
we'll talk
Prime
about the
Minister.
legacy. I'm fine.
That's the last question.
We'll talk about the legacy.
Yeah. What do you consider to be your legacy as Prime Minister of Malaysia?
I have steered the progress of this country. I'm very proud of my achievement, my government's achievement. First of all, in terms of the stewardship of the economy. For 6 years, we exceeded the growth of the four so-called Asian tigers: Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and Singapore. I'm proud of the achievements that I've achieved.
How do you feel about the fact that the 1MDB scandal has stained that legacy to a certain extent?
I regret, and I wish there was no 1MDB issue whatsoever.
Jolo.
Thank you.
Oh, no, no.
Thank you,
Can I
thank you.
just ask you about Jolo? Because
no,
it
no.
is important. No,
it's enough.
It
It's
is.
enough.
Why do
You're
you
coming
think
back
he.
to
No,
Jolo?
Why? No. Just you. He's.
Yes, enough.
But, Mr. Najib, it is important because people are asking. He has been charged with money laundering and he's evading arrest. You're facing arrest. He's not. I think it's really important that you talk about how you feel about that.
No, I mean, let them take action against Joe Low. I mean, I'm not in the government now. Let the government pursue him. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but why do you think he is evading arrest? He
Yeah, I mean,
hasn't
you have to
spoken
ask-
out in
Should
support
ask
of
me.
you.
I am not in touch with him anymore.
But he hasn't spoken out in
No,
support of you.
Please follow him. Please follow up with him.
You want us to follow up with him?
Well, do whatever you need to do.
Do you blame him for any of this?
Look, as I said, my position is clear.
A lot of things going to court. So I think it's better.
Let the process with all takes its course.
I think
Let
better.
it take its
Because a lot of things.
When was the last time you communicated?
Okay, it's enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Najib.